Fact-checking process, tools, and platforms. Good day. For this lesson, the students are expected to describe the nature of fact-checking, investigate on how to spot fake news, evaluate fact-checking tools and platforms, and apply fact-checking using tools and platforms. Let's begin by defining the word fact-checked. According to the Merriam-Webster, it is a verb which means that it is an action that needs to be done to verify the factual accuracy of a piece of information. For example, an article should be fact-checked before publication, or fact-checked your information before posting in FB. Let's look at a more detailed meaning of fact-checking. Wigmore describes it as the process of attempting to verify or disprove assertions made in speech, print media, or online content. The practice is essential for integrity in any area where claims are made, including government, journalism, and business. Fact-checking can be conducted before something is published, especially for the people authoring the information, or it could be done after the text is published for those accessing the information. Here are 8 ways to spot fake news. Consider the source. To evaluate a source, check the authority by reviewing the author's credentials, contact information, and ownership details. Assess its purpose to ensure it aligns with the content, noting the domain type, and coverage to confirm it links to reliable external sources instead of low-quality sites. Finally, ensure timeliness by looking at the publication dates, examine objectivity to detect any bias, and verify accuracy by cross-referencing the information with trustworthy sources. Read beyond the headlines, since they can be outrageous in efforts to get clicks. Clickbaits are all over the web, especially in social media. Here's more about it.
May nagkaka-cancer na ba dahil sa Mobile Legends? Ayan, kaka-computer mo. Pero sandali lang, parang imposible naman yan. Maraming headlines sa social media na nakakatawag pansin dahil nakakagulat, nakakatakot, o nakakapagduda. Siguro naka-all caps ito, o maraming exclamation point. Baka may kasama itong litrato na nakakabagabag. Madalas, hindi ito totoo o pinapalaki lang nito ang issue para basahin mo yung report. Ang tawag dito ay clickbait. Ginagawa ito para kumita ang website sa ads o para i-like o i-share mo ang isang post. Minsan, hindi masama ang clickbait. Ang pangungulit lang ng mama mo ang problema mo. Pero kapag mali impormasyon ang ibinabahagi ng clickbait, nakakasama ito, lalo na kung hindi talaga tugma ang headline sa laman ng post at naging viral ito. Anong gagawin mo kung makakakita ka ng clickbait na mapanlinlang? Huwag i-share. Ipaliwanag sa kamag-anak o kaibigan kung bakit posibleng hindi ito totoo. At kung nakakalito talaga ang post, i-report mo sa factcheck@rappler.com.
Check the author. Take a moment to identify the author of a piece of content. If the website reveals the author's name and credentials, it can be a good sign that someone is willing to stand by their work and put their reputation on the line. However, an author alone isn't enough to indicate a reliable source. It may be a fake persona or pseudonym, or they may not be qualified to actually write about the subject. Be sure to see if the author provides any links to personal websites, social media profiles, or a portfolio, and follow the links to check legitimacy. If it's posted in social media, examine the poster's profile, the duration of their account's use, and their posting history to determine whether they exhibit bot-like activity. For instance, if an account tweets at all hours of the day from various locations across the world and includes content that is both very divisive politically and content that is retweeted from other accounts, those tweets were probably generated by a machine. Check on supporting sources. Whether we're talking news articles or scholarly papers, a credible source always includes their external sources of information to back up their factual claims. News organizations require journalists to identify their sources unless a source has requested anonymity. Experts want to give credit as they know that citing other experts make their claims even stronger. However, be careful to examine journalistic, scholarly, and scientific sources. Even official sounding sources may be too biased to be trusted or not as legitimate as they appear. Is the website you're reading the only one reporting this information? Or are other well known authoritative news outlets also sharing similar stories? If one website is the only place where you can find any information on a subject, it's probably fake news. Even the most recent breaking stories spread quickly between different news outlets. If there are other sites reporting the information, check the validity and authority level of those sites. Check the date. Look at the date of the article or report. When was it first posted or last updated? The date of a source says a lot about whether or not the information is still relevant, factual, accurate, or useful. For example, if you're looking for the latest information on presidential candidates, the timestamp on information sources can change the accuracy and relevance of the information a great deal. Facts are time sensitive. Generally, the more recent a report is, the better.
Number 5, check the date. Minsan kasi exciting yung balita, gusto mo na agad i-share sa mga friends mo, but ang problem is, medyo old na yung news. Ang nangyayari, yung balita na yan out of context. Ibig sabihin, iba na yung pinanggagalingan ng story. Meron mga mahilig mag-share ng lumang balita na wala naman sa tamang konteksto. Ano kaya ang masasabi ng ating mga eksperto?
Old stories, even if legitimate, may mislead people if reposted or repackaged to make it appear as new. The act of reposting or repackaging old stories may be classified as fake news or lies if it ends up consciously or unconsciously deceiving the public.
Even Facebook has warned its users before sharing old news articles in response to the issue of outdated news being shared and treated as current news. Is it a joke? If it's too outlandish, it might be satire. Research the site and author to be sure. Have you heard of satirical news? Its underlying goal is to make claims about actual individuals, events, and trends in the hope of influencing change through humor. It is typically biased. Take a look at the image and see what makes this satirical. The source, corbpquire.net, is a hoax and cannot be opened. It's dated May 11, 2021, but the elections happened in 2022. You could see more if you look closely. Another popular satirical news was that of Simon Cowell singing, not judging in the talent show. It was actually a product of deepfake technology. Watch the video how this technology is used for satirical purposes.
You know our love was meant to be the kind of love that lasts forever. I want you here with me. For tonight until the end of time, you should know. Everywhere I go, always on my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Baby, you're the meaning in my life, you're the inspiration. You bring a feeling to my life, you're the inspiration. I wanna have you near me, I wanna have you hear me saying, no one needs you more than I, more than I need you. You bring feeling to my life, you're the inspiration. I wanna have you near me, I wanna have you hear me saying, no one needs you more than I need you.
Yeah, you rock it. Look at this.
You could also check out real satirical sites. They exist to provide humor and satirical news. Check your biases. We know this is difficult, but confirmation bias leads people to put more stock in information that confirms their beliefs and discount information that doesn't. But the next time you're automatically appalled at some Facebook post concerning, say, a politician you oppose, take a moment to check it out. Try this simple test. What other stories have been posted to the news website that is the source of the story that just popped up in your Facebook feed? The tendency for people to seek out and accept information that supports their preconceptions is known as confirmation bias. It's crucial to think about how you will react to the information when you examine any source. Are you getting the information you want to hear from the source? Is it challenging for you to see that a source isn't as trustworthy as you believe it is because of confirmation bias? When your feelings are strong and a normal amount of skepticism is absent, you'll know you're experiencing confirmation bias. Ask the experts. Ask people around you who can give you the facts. You can refer to your librarian when in doubt of the news, or you can simply check out these fact-checking sites. There are already fact-checking tools and platforms that can help us out online. We can start with verifying images and videos using Google. Since almost everyone is active on social media, check out the video to evaluate legit social media accounts. Here are sites that could really help you out with fact-checking the news. First is Google's Fact Check Explorer. Check out how it is done. Another one is fact-checking via VeriFiles.
Fake news is nothing new, but bogus stories can reach more people more quickly via social media than what good old-fashioned viral emails could accomplish in years past. A lot of these viral claims aren't news at all, but fiction, satire, and efforts to fool readers into thinking they're for real. Here are some strategies to shield yourself from fake news. Are you familiar with the source? Is it legitimate? Has it been reliable in the past? If not, you may not want to trust it. If a provocative headline drew your attention, read a little further before you decide to pass along the shocking information. Even in legitimate news stories, the headline doesn't always tell the whole story. But fake news, particularly efforts to be satirical, can include several revealing signs in the text. One fake story even attributed a quote to a dolphin. If that had been real, you could argue they buried the lead. Another telltale sign of a fake story is often the byline, if there even is one. And in some cases, the authors are not even real. One story was credited to a doctor who won 14 Peabody Awards and a handful of Pulitzer Prizes, which would be very impressive if it wasn't also totally made up. Many times these bogus stories will cite official or official-sounding sources, but once you look into it, the source doesn't back up the claim. Some false stories aren't completely fake, but rather distortions of real events. These mendacious claims can take a legitimate news story and twist what it says, or even claim that something that happened long ago is related to current events. One deceptive website took a story that was over a year old from CNN and slapped on a new, misleading headline and publication date. So on top of the deception, there was copyright infringement. Remember, there is such a thing as satire. Normally it's clearly labeled as such, and sometimes it's even funny. But it isn't the news. And then there's the more debatable forms of satire, designed to pull one over on the reader. These posts are also designed to encourage clicks and generate money for the creator through ad revenue. But they aren't news. We know this is difficult. Confirmation bias leads people to put more stock in information that confirms their beliefs and discount information that doesn't. But the next time you're automatically appalled at some social media post concerning, say, a politician you oppose, take a moment to check it out. Try this simple test. What other stories have been posted to the news website that is the source of the story that just popped up in your social media feed? You may be predisposed to believe a story about a politician you don't like, but if the alleged news site also features a story about Guardians from Antarctica retaliating against America by hitting New Zealand with an earthquake, maybe you should think twice before sharing. And yes, that earthquake story is a real example of a fake story that popped up. We know you're busy, and some of this debunking takes time, but fact checkers get paid to do this kind of work. Between factcheck.org, Snopes.com, the Washington Post Fact Checker, and PolitiFact.com, it's likely at least one has already fact-checked the latest viral claim to pop up in your social media newsfeed. And remember, newsreaders themselves remain the first line of defense against fake news. To see more, go to factcheck.org.